So we need to come up with, like, an intro noise or something, because we keep saying, like, story time, and we need to come up with something. Like, I want to be able to do the Xena cry. Just do the Xena cry at the beginning of my story. We'll have to come up with a signature sound. I'm just a birdie, too.
And the, what is it? The
yeah, you need to come up with a noise.
It's all of that.
It's now the intro to every story. Okay. So anyway, it's my story time. So I just kind of have a little short bit stories because we think this episode's going to be a little long and weird.
Or anxious, I don't know.
Who knows? So something funny about me is I had 2 older brothers growing up, as I may have mentioned. And I was a weird kid, just like Krista, but in a different way. I was incredibly intelligent and very, like, problem-solve oriented, but I did it for the dumbest shit. I would work really hard and be really focused and do all these things to do something stupid. Like, and it happened so often. And I can't tell you what influences in my life caused this. This is just how it happened. So one of Krista's favorites is, I think I was around 8 or 9. And I guess, like, some sitcom or some show, like, started doing the bag popping thing where you'd get, like, those, like, paper lunch bags and you'd blow it up and you'd pop it to scare people. And I just thought that was the funniest friggin' thing as a 7 or 8-year-old. And I just started doing it to everyone in my family. I'd, like, hide around corners behind the bathroom door and just, like, pop it. And it got to the point that my brothers just, like, phased it out. Like, it didn't even bother them. I'd literally, like, waited in the dark and all this stuff, and they just be like, hey, Julie. And I'm like, God, I have to run off. So I had to get more elaborate. And I learned how to pick their door lock. And I kicked down their door, and I popped it back in their face. And it obviously startled them. And I was so proud, like, yeah, the bag got you. And I left the room. Like, I don't know why. This is what I did.
The thought process behind it, that you just, for whatever reason, just really wanted to get people with this paper bag prank, that you were like, oh, I'm gonna get them, and no matter what, and then you learned to lock pick.
I don't know why.
With a paper bag.
I have so many of these instances in my childhood where I literally did all this work for something so stupid. Like, and I don't know why.
Do you have another example of this? Because I just know about this one, I think.
So I became, like, really obsessed with fireworks, as most adolescent punks do. And what was even funnier about all these, like, pranks and stupid shit that I pulled is my dad encouraged it. He loved that I was, like, 9 years younger than my brothers and was just, like, fucking with them. And so, like, I got obsessed with fireworks, and my dad bought me a bunch of these pull-apart ones. Like, they're just these little snaps with 2 ropes that you pull apart. And I was trying to think of ways to, like, really mess with my siblings with them, right? And I kind of, like, established the popping the bag thing where I would just, like, sneak up behind him, and it worked for a minute. And then I started learning, like, the exact place of which when you pull the rope, it'll, like, pop. So I was sitting there obsessively, like, popping them to exactly, like, figure out what tension it would require. And my brother was, like, living in the garage at the time. We built, like, a room in the garage. And I tied it to, like, his door handle because I wanted it to pop. And then I ran out and threw a bunch of water on him. And I don't know why. Like, that was just, like, I wanted him to be in shock, and then I would startle him even more by throwing water on him. So I did all this obsessive research, and I got, like, his schedule just right so that, like, I closed his door, I did all this shit, and I put this, like, intricate, like, firework on there. And he pulled it, and the door popped, and he fell backwards, and then I just came out and dumped water on him. Ran back inside. Waiting.
Was he mad at you?
Yeah. It was the one that was less fun. So he got so mad, and, like, what's even funnier about all these stories is, as you could tell, like, I tormented my siblings, and they would they go to my mom and complain. They'd be like, you don't know, like, when you're around, she acts perfect, but, like, whenever you leave, she's just a little demon. And my mom basically was like, doesn't sound like it affects me. So, like, sounds like she just doesn't respect any of you. And I didn't, so it was fine. She's like, if she doesn't bother me, I don't give a shit. That's pretty much her mentality about it.
So, in all of these scenarios, which part were they more upset about? Well, in the locked door scenario, I doubt they cared about the paper bag, right?
No, that's what upset them.
But, like, was he mad about the pop, or was he mad because you poured water on?
Well, he was really mad that I broke into his room.
Oh, okay.
So that was always the thing. Because, I mean, they were teenage boys. So, like, breaking into their room was the worst thing you could possibly do to them. So, of course, me, like, violating his privacy. And I was like, I don't give a shit about your Stone Cold Steve Austin poster. Like, I did go in there, like, when I learned to lockpick, I started breaking into his room to play his Dreamcast. But other than that, he was really mad about that. And I guess, like, he hurt his ankle when he fell back or something. And I was like, well, that's because you're fat. Like, I just said that. I was like, that's not my fault. And then
you were worthless at 9.
I used to, when my brother went on a diet, I used to go with my mom and buy his favorite candy and sell them, like they were Milk Duds, and I'd sell them to him for 10 cents, like Milk Dud while he was dieting. And then I would use that money to buy their favorite ice cream and then sell the ice cream to him.
I think this is my favorite story time ever.
There's so many horrible things I did. I remember the day I thought of that. Essentially, my dad took me to the store and got me Milk Duds. And I love candy, but I can only eat a little bit of it, even as a kid. And my brother was making me mad. And so I just threw, like, a Milk Dud at his forehead. And then he picked it up and ate it. And then it became a game where I was trying to, like, nail him, like, really hard. Like, in the eye or the tooth or something. And my mom got mad because she wanted a Milk Dud. And I was just like, no, I'm having fun. And she came back with a $1 bill and she went, give me 10. I was like, okay. And I gave her 10. And then my brother ran to his room and got all of his change and was buying Milk Duds off of me. And that's what started, like, my whole enterprise. And I just kept expanding. I make deals. I made cookies. And I was just like, if you buy 3 cookies, I'll give you a free piece of gum. And, like, all this shit.
This is Passion for Your Passions, a podcast where we talk about all the things we love and then rant about the parts we hate. I'm Krista.
And I'm Julie. And today we're going to talk about Marvel.
He's my friend. So was I. What do we do, Cap? We fight.
Okay, so I said we're talking about Marvel. I probably should have specified Marvel Comics, but that is a huge subject, especially just between the two of us, that we've decided to kind of pepper in random episodes about Marvel, and today we're doing something very weird. We're doing Superfights, specifically with Marvel characters.
Yeah, kind of Superfights. I will, a disclaimer, I don't really know. This is very highly based off of Superfights for anybody who has ever played it. And for anybody who doesn't know what Superfights is, Superfights is essentially like Cards Against Humanities. It's just that instead of the thing being like random things and then one person picks who wins, it's like specifically like you're saying 2 characters are fighting, and they're fighting like under certain circumstances. I think it'll make more sense as we play it, and we'll kind of explain it probably more in the very first round, but that's like the gist of it. But also the little disclaimer part that I wanted to make is like, this isn't exactly Superfights. I kind of made it up, sort of, based off of what I know about Superfights. So just take that as you will. It's not exactly like Superfights.
And we're also kind of figuring it out as we go, probably. We'll have some moments of like, what the hell? Yeah. But it should be really random and really fun. We'll see how it goes. Maybe we'll do more of these episodes, like, to kind of intro, like, anime and these grand subjects. But we probably will have quite a few more Marvel or just comic book episodes, I'm sure. So to kind of go into a little bit about how we feel about Marvel as a whole. Specifically for this episode, we're trying to stick more to the movies to be more relatable, and since they're so popular, people should at least recognize most of these names and most of these characters. We did dip into the shows just a little bit, the most recent ones.
Just because there's more heroes than there's villains.
Yeah, we need to piecemeal some shit.
I mean, I'm not saying that doesn't make sense, but there's so many heroes. They had such a hard time. It's so easy to come up with heroes, but then the villains, it's like, the Alexander Pierce?
He's in there, right? Yeah,
he's much a villain? What would happen if I gave him a rocket launcher and launched him at Thanos?
Like, I think that'd work. Yeah, so basically this whole episode is just us arguing over who would kick whose ass based on special circumstances.
Which, I mean, you know, if you think about it, that's like the nerdiest shit ever. That's like what nerds have been doing since the dawn of time. It's just like, okay, you have Spock and Batman in a room who...
Okay, no, Batman, we're not talking about... This is one of my rage moments. I will never play this fucking game with a Batman fan. And let me preface this for people who don't know me that well. I have a whole entire room themed Batman. Okay, I am a huge Batman fan, but fuck Batman fans. Okay, you can't play this game with them. Every time you're like, well, who would win, Goku or Batman? I'm like, Goku. Duh, like that's the dumbest thing. No, Batman would prep for 20 years and figure out everything about. No, you're teleporting these people into a room. They're fighting. Batman almost always loses.
Okay, but I think in the scenario of Spock versus Batman, yeah, Batman probably would kick Spock's ass. He's not like a fighter. He's like a smart... I mean, I guess he's got the pinch. It was just an example.
Well, you did it on purpose, and you know
Batman was just the first one, because we were just talking. We're already ruining this episode.
So early.
Okay, we're doing Marvel because Julie's got some DC gripes, and also I don't think Julie understands that Batman is kind of a meh for me, but that's fine. Yeah, so part of the reason that we want to talk about Marvel, and we want to talk about Marvel like this, is because Julie and I have pretty much both watched all the movies. I think you have watched all the movies. I think there's a couple that I haven't. But also, I've been told that they're really bad, and I'm kind of weird when it comes to things, and if I am told that something is bad, I normally won't watch it. So there are, like, I think 3 I haven't watched.
I've watched all of them multiple times. At least once a year, I go through, like, the whole sequence.
Like, I think I haven't seen some of the Thors. I definitely haven't seen 2. I'm trying to think if I've seen 1. I might have only have seen parts of 1.
Yeah.
So, and then, I don't know. I know there's another one I haven't seen.
Probably Iron Man 2 and 3.
No, I've seen all the Iron Mans. I know I have. At least I'm pretty sure I have. But I think there is, like, another random one that I just didn't watch. And then people were like, it sucks. And I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna watch it then. So, but I've seen all of them. Other than that, I do like them. I do like most of the characters. There are a few that I'm a little bit weird about, which we'll see if that comes up during this. Just because, so here's the thing about me, which I don't think that we've really talked about very much in this. I am a critic. This can be a very annoying thing about me, and I know that it is, but like, I like things that are good. That is a big thing overall, like nerdiness and coolness and like that sort of thing never trumps it being good. So like it has to be good first and foremost for me to like it.
To me, if it's cool, that's kind of like a negative. I'm like, well, especially growing up, if anything was cool, I'm like, I'm going to do the opposite, which is why I never did drugs and I'm a nerd. Like, so that's how I grew up. But as an adult, I've kind of like tapered off that. Like, if it's popular, there's probably a good reason. So I'm not as bad about it. But to me, like, if something's bad, sometimes that's why I like it. Like, if you're talking about, like, the Doom movie with The Rock, I fucking love that movie. It's so terrible.
That is a different thing. But because I have that, too. We've talked before. And we should maybe have an episode about this, because
shitty movies.
I do love me a bad movie. Like, a movie that's so bad. That is a wonderful, beautiful thing.
Megalodon 3.
That's not really what I'm talking about. It's just more like, I really care about stories. I really do care, like, when a movie is just good. So, like, if a movie is, you know, more trying to be like, oh, look at Batman. Isn't Batman cool? I'm like, I guess, but, like, the story is shit.
If it doesn't have bat nipples, I'm not interested.
Yeah, only bat nipples.
Only the bat nipples.
And, the Schwarzenegger just saying random ice puns.
Yes. Those movies shaped who I am today. That's why I have a Batman room.
It makes me so sad when people don't like those movies, because I'm like, but they're wonderful.
They're so amazing.
They're terrible, but
holy
it's
rusted metal, Batman. What? The metal, it's all holy. Like, that's the best line. And then they have skates that pop out.
We gotta have a bad movie. That's just the thing. But back on Marvel. Is there any other thing that we want to mention as to why we're doing the Superfights thing in particular? I guess it's just because of what's happening right now.
Yeah, this is a prime example. Like, we can't focus.
We could date ourselves. We could talk about Winter Soldier and Black Falcon. Or we could just, get into this game.
Just fucking do it.
I have feelings about this TV show, but maybe, we should play this game.
Yeah, this is basically what we just spent like 20 minutes doing, is explaining why we had to get this specific and weird about this episode, because if we don't, we'll go on tangents. So, focusing back, let's go over the rules and how this is basically gonna work.
Okay. Let's do just like kind of the first gist part of this. So what we're gonna do, like, I'm just gonna kind of talk about like what our sheet looks like, right?
Oh, okay.
So what we have in front of us is we have a sheet of heroes, villains. We have a section that is what they are armed with. We're going to assume, unless otherwise stated, that they have their, like, normal attire, essentially. So, like, unless it says they don't have weapons or, like, something like that, Iron Man would, like, for example, be in his iron suit. It's not just gonna be Tony Stark, the dude.
The wonder.
And then we also have a section that is disadvantaged by. And Julie and I have filled this all out, so we are all aware of this, except for we do have a round of some secrets.
Yes, we thought it'd be especially hilarious to come up with secret disadvantages. So for rounds 3 and 4, our disadvantage is going to be a secret from the other one. Because we've had this list for a while, so we've kind of like read over it, thought about it, stupid little things. But if it's so random and so specific from the other person, there's no way we could have had some formulated response beforehand, and it'll be shocking and hilarious, hopefully.
Okay, so that's just like the gist of what we have in front of us. So, Julie, do you want to go over the rules? Like, how are we actually going to play this game?
Okay. We're using a randomizer to determine there are roughly 40, just short of 40, of each of these. So we're going to use the randomizer to determine one of each of these. We're alternating hero and villain. Krista will be the hero on round 1, I will be the hero on round 2, and vice versa the villain. We don't really want a pitch to be more than 5 minutes. We're not really timing it, but essentially the hero makes their argument first of why they would kick the villain's ass.
Oh yeah, and I guess we should say that too, is that the idea is you're in a room, you're fighting. Who wins?
Yeah, you're teleported, you're told you have to fight the other one with whatever advantage and disadvantage you have. And then you go. So yeah, the hero would start their argument with why they would win. The villain has a counter argument. And then they kind of go, then we'll go back and forth of like, what the fight would actually happen. So if they say something like, well, of course I'd punch you within the first second. They're like, oh, fuck you, I have super speed. You'd punch me, I'd punch you in a half a second. Like, we'd have stupid back and forth like that. And at the end, we kind of want you guys to determine who would win, but because we're still pretty early and no one's talking to us, I guess we'll just kind of silently decide, like, who's gonna win. If we really disagree, then it's Thunderdome time, and we have to pick another disadvantage.
Oh my gosh, some of these disadvantages are rough.
Well, some of them are silly.
Some of them are silly. Well, you'll see.
You'll find out.
Dear audience, you'll see. But some of them are pretty rough. Just keep getting disadvantaged until we agree.
Until someone wins.
Okay. I think those are all the big things. There's not really anything else. I'm kind of nervous, but I'm also kind of excited. I feel like I'm just like shaking.
Too many emotions at once. I feel like what's gonna happen is we're probably gonna have 2 rounds, I don't know which, that will be actual, like, about the argument. It's not necessarily who's fighting. And then we'll just get one really dumb one that, like, of course I'd kick your ass. Like, this isn't even, there's no point.
It's gonna be Thanos and Alexander Pierce with a rocket launcher being launched at breakneck speed as Thanos.
Yeah, see, there'd be no argument. We'd just sit there and stare at each other like, well...
I mean, obviously. Thanos would win, but I mean, that's pretty great.
I mean, the imagery of it.
Cool. So, we have our first set. So, I guess what we'll do first is we'll say what we got. So, for the first round, I got Rhodey, armed with just a bow and arrow, and disadvantaged by he is distracted by the smell of food.
So, I, in turn, got Loki with a blaster. Loved one is dead. All right.
Okay, so I guess I get to argue first.
It's time to do.
Okay, so what I'm going to say about my man Rhodey is even without his super suit, and I guess I'm going to make the argument that this is before he loses his legs because I have to make I have to make some kind of an argument there that he is a military man. So this man, he does know his way around a bow and arrow for sure. I'm gonna make that argument. I'm gonna say Rhodey is a man who knows his way around a bow and arrow. So even if he is armed with a bow and arrow, and you know, military man, food doesn't even matter. You're eating shit food anyway. You're eating those MREs in the desert. It's barely cooked.
I fucking love MREs. Well, old MREs.
Well, depends on the one. You get rotten cheese and half a weird cookie. Not distracted by the smell of food. Military man. He knows where he's shooting. And you know what? Loki, my man is scrawny. So, you know, I don't care if he's a god. He's not a beefy god like Thor is. He's only armed with tricks, and I don't think that Rhodey would take that.
See, I think that Rhodey is not accustomed to magic, which is basically tricks of the trade for Loki. So I think it'd be and also he could just create food. He can make it look like he's living in a smorgasbord, and as to your effect, the military eating shitty food. So he's not only distracted by the smell of food, he's got, it's like fairy magic up in here, like smorgasbord of food that's totally irresistible. Like, Loki doesn't even have to fight, he just has to sit there, and then just blast him. Because he has a blaster. Because to your argument, hand-to-hand combat is not going to be Loki's strength, so he'll just create the illusion, and then while Rhodey's totally distracted by food, just pow! Like, just one and done, out and over.
Yeah, and since, just to say this, to make this clear, since we are saying just a bow and arrow, it means he does not have a super suit. I have to be fair to the rules that we have set up. He's not wearing his super suit. He only has a bow and arrow.
Right.
I'm gonna assume that he's wearing clothes, though, because...
Yeah, I would hope he's not naked.
But the other thing, I guess I will say, just to, like, poke holes in your argument, is I don't know if anywhere they've established, like, Loki's powers being quite what you're saying. Like, it kind of, from what I'm remembering, he has kind of like elemental magic. Like, it's not, he has like some illusion, but like I wouldn't say it's like he could make a pizza and be like, oh, this smells good. Like, it's more like he can change into things and like shoot you with fire.
Yeah, what I'm thinking is if he can change into Captain America and make a joke, he could definitely like create a different illusion, and that's not necessarily that he can create smell. Rhodey's already distracted by like the smell of a food. So then if he just creates like already that problem in place.
So wait, so he sees Captain America? What a snack.
Captain America is a fucking snack, okay? No, I was referencing the movie saying like, because he can do that, I assume that he can also just create like a feast, a small one.
Well, you know, I'm just saying, I don't think that Rhodey would be distracted. I don't think he would be that distracted. I think he's a professional.
Alright, then as he's setting his bow, Loki would just blast in the face. No illusions, just pop! Bow versus blaster. Which one's the future? Which one's the past? I'd go with blaster.
Okay, do we have any other arguments for this one? Because
this is an obvious.
This is like a... You know, I'm trying my best, but like, Rhodey, some of these are handicaps to some of these people, and I knew it when I put it in there, because there was a few of them where I was like, oh, if it's this specific person, that's gonna
fuck them up.
I wasn't like necessarily thinking Rhodey would get just a bow and arrow, but I didn't going by the rules of our stuff, I suddenly realized, I was like, wait a minute, he wouldn't have his weapon then, because his weapon is his body. So,
yep. Yeah, so this is an obvious crush it.
Yeah, this one was kind of unfair because, you know, Rhodey, what is he gonna do against a god?
And a blaster. Loki doesn't have any loved ones, really, like, and if he does, they're already dead.
Oh yeah, I forgot about the loved one argument. You
could have used that.
I could have maybe used, like, a Thor.
Yeah, he does kind of love Thor.
Kind of.
He loved his mom. Mostly. Yeah, he had like a breakdown.
I think that was our first round. I didn't try that hard, to be fair.
Yeah. I just like my, and then I blast you. What are you gonna fucking do? You don't got a suit.
Rhodey's a person.
If you had your suit, I think it would have been a real, actual
quandary.
fight. Yeah.
We could have done some stuff, but okay.
Just bow and arrow.
First round done.
Gotcha. Alright, for round 2, I'm going into Thor again, apparently, for some reason. I'm the Valkyrie, which is pretty badass. I am armed with the portal gun.
A great one.
A good one. And my disadvantages, I have an armful of groceries.
A mighty disadvantage.
Are they precious, or can I just, chuck them in my portal gun portal and call it a fucking day? Can I just fuck this? I got more important things to do.
I guess that's an argument for you to make.
Yeah, I guess I'll do that. But,
okay.
Anyway, yours.
So mine is very interesting because, first of all, I am Jigsaw, which I guess, okay, maybe we should do a small explanation here. I guess we didn't do that in the first one, explain our people.
Really
but they were, yeah. So, Jigsaw, this is the villain from The Punisher.
Yes, this is...
The guy with the messed up face.
Yeah, this is the Punisher's best friend from the past who then turns against him because he's a dickhole. Yeah. That's about the summary of it, really.
And Valkyrie was Tessa Thompson in Thor Ragnarok. And, well, I guess she was also in Infinity War. So, she's... I guess also essentially a god? Yeah, she has to be, because she's lived for a long time. So, a god, and, she's got, a Pegasus horse and knives and stuff.
Badass.
Yeah. So, I mean, she's pretty badass. But, I'm Jigsaw, and I have the Infinity Gauntlet. So, this is going to be pretty hard on Julie to figure this out. Although, I am disadvantaged by the fact that my foot is wounded. But I don't know if it matters, because I have the Infinity Gauntlet. How we got that on round 2?
I think it's because your round 1 sucked so hard. This is the comeback.
But I did try very hard.
Yes.
I tried so hard.
I have a stratagem.
Okay.
Alright. Jigsaw. He doesn't know what the fuck the gauntlet is. He's not from this realm. He doesn't know. So, at least, I'm gonna say he got zapped and he probably has no idea what the fuck's going on during the blip. So that's my first thing, is he's gonna get the gauntlet and then be trying to figure it out in that second, because the Valkyrie's a god and has a fucking Pegasus and the portal gun. Essentially what she'll do is she'll see the wounded leg, your stupid stump foot. She'll put a portal hole on the other leg that you're supporting most of your weight on. He will slip and fall. She will fly. She will grab the fucking gauntlet and then go. And then you are SOL. You are stuck half in a portal. Your crotch got hit on the floor from knocking yourself out with the leg. She can use the portal, or she can then use the gauntlet against you and rule all things on her Pegasus.
Alright, I mean, all of these arguments aside, I mean, first of all, Jigsaw still does have the gauntlet, and I mean, if nothing else, it does have the Power Stone and stuff. So, okay, here's one question I don't really remember the answer to. Does Valkyrie fight Thanos in Infinity War?
She does in Endgame.
In Endgame. Does she?
She takes they have that Power Girls moment where all the women show up and they all take the gauntlet and stuff. And she's fucking wrecking it. She fights the Thresher Malls or whatever they are. She kills a bunch of them and takes the gauntlet. So she already knows what the gauntlet is and how it works.
Okay.
And would try to take it away from him. She'd know immediately. And
because I guess my question about it is did she fight Thanos when Thanos had the gauntlet? Because I don't really know if that's a thing that was established in the movies very well. He has the gauntlet's on him. It's got the Power Stone, so he's strong. Is Thanos strong because Thanos is Thanos, or is it because he's got the Power Stone?
It's both. Because, one, you have to be powerful to even wield the gauntlet. They talked about that with Hulk. So, I think the gauntlet would probably kill Jigsaw, if I'm being honest. Because it kills Iron Man with one snap.
But that's the thing, though, is he doesn't necessarily have to do the snap.
No.
Because the snap was just to get rid of everybody in the universe.
Yeah, but
half the people in the universe.
Look at the radiation that Hulk had to deal with just when he put it on. Before he even did anything. I feel
but Jigsaw
would put it on and be like, fuck! Disintegrate in front of the Valkyrie while she's got the portal gun.
mean, he's already so fucked up. I don't really know, honestly, if he cares.
He might get a, like, 5-second, like, one go-to, kind of like Iron Man when he did it. Like, you get one. One fucking move.
Yeah, you get one. I mean... This one is like a little bit hard, and like I kind of like have things that like I feel like I could fight certain ways. Fuck the thing with the groceries, whatever. what kind of a thing? Oh yeah, like he's gonna appeal to Valkyrie's humanity. Just I'll take my milk. Don't just throw those groceries. There are people starving in Africa, Valkyrie. How could you do this? You're a god.
Yep. All my disadvantages have been really, like, not good for you to fight against.
Well, maybe I could have done something about love, but okay, we'll say one quick thing. He's there. He has the gauntlet. Would he have the foresight to want to do something? Because if he did, I think that Valkyrie is doomed. I think that that's just, there's nothing that she could do. I mean, although I will say it is kind of weird in Infinity War because they just kind of don't really say, oh wait, no, she does live because she's in Endgame at the beginning.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't, how she got there, nobody knows, but okay, she's there. Was Jigsaw alive? Would he know?
Would he be
who
blipped?
Thanos was?
Yeah, we'd have to argue, did he get blipped or is he like on the planet like, oh fuck?
Because if he was there and maybe he knew about it, I don't know. There's a lot of very like wiggly things in here.
I think at best we'd both die. Because I think if he had an idea to kill the Valkyrie, and then he would die after using the gauntlet.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, he either has to make the decision of like being split between two portals by the Valkyrie while she flies off with the gauntlet, or killing them both, which Jigsaw would totally kill them both.
Yeah. And that was the kind of thing I was getting to, too. It's like, it is kind of weird in the movies because they make it seem like just everybody knows about Thanos. But I have to assume that there probably are people who don't really know the full deal about it. Like, maybe they know that he was around because, yeah, okay, half of humanity is gone, but, like, you know, would the government necessarily be like, hey, there was this big guy, he had a glove, and, like, you know, explain?
Well, what's even funnier is, like, at the beginning of Infinity War, when, like, the Hulk goes to Earth, no one knows who the fuck Thanos is.
Yeah.
Like, he goes, like, Thanos is coming. And everybody's like, who? And Iron Man even says, what's his name again? Thanos. He's a world crusher, Tony. Like, he says this whole thing, so nobody knows who he is until he just fucks everything up.
Until everybody does.
Yeah, then everybody just knows.
Yeah, this is, to get on, like, a very small tangent, this is sometimes something that is kind of weird about Marvel, because this was a problem I was having in Winter Soldier and Black Falcon. Because, like, one of the things that I kept, like, the whole time I was watching it, I was like, Captain America's not dead. Like, okay, like, I understand the situation, but, like, can't somebody just, like, go talk to him? He's not dead. Like, they didn't establish, I know he's living his life or, like, whatever, but, like, they just, like, they would keep talking about him like something had happened to him. Like, I mean, I know what happens at the end of the movie. Like, I know he's not, like, young. But also, it's like, you could just still go talk to him. He's still somewhere.
Well, I thought they did, like, a funeral bit.
No, that was for Tony. That was what that funeral
Well, yeah, at that movie, I thought in the show they did, like, a bit to be, like, because it's implied that basically, like, he just died, like, right after he gave off the shield.
Maybe I missed that, but I don't remember that. But I thought that was just kind of more like a service, essentially. Like, because that was oh yeah, you know, maybe I do know what you're talking about. I think, like, the way that I took that was, like, more saving face, you know, type of thing. Like, to be like, Captain America, he's not here anymore because he's old.
And I took it as, like, basically Cap lived to that point to give away the shield and then just burp.
He just died.
And then just
he gave the shield.
He was out because, like, his Peggy doesn't live much longer than that point. Like, she died like a year or so. Like, well, I guess it'd be 5 years because of the blip and everything. She died like 5 years before that, and that was the whole point of him going back. So then he would live just to be that asshole in that moment, like, I'm not gonna say anything. And then give the shield. So to me, he, like, dies right after. In my mind.
Okay. Alright, this is a very long tangent anyway. I think we kind of ended up deciding that it's probably a draw at best. I mean, maybe there's some argument to be said there that Valkyrie could do it if she just
it all
tried
depends on
really hard.
how much Jigsaw knows about the gauntlet. If he knows absolutely nothing, Valkyrie would win. If he has a pretty good idea what it is, then he'd kill them both.
Yeah. So at best, it's probably a draw. / I lose.
Say a half point to me.
So, alright, so on our first round, we're very excited about giving each other these stupid disadvantages round. So for this, I am Scarlet Witch, and for some reason I am armed with one good kick. I'm not really sure what that means with Scarlet Witch because she has magic, but okay, one good kick.
I dig it. Am I telling you your disadvantage now?
Yeah, you need to tell me what
Okay,
it is.
You break a bone every time you don't fight to the beat of Canned Heat. The song by Jamiroquai.
Of Canned Heat?
Yeah.
What is Canned Heat?
Have you seen,
So it's basically like Crypt of the Necrodancer.
Napoleon Dynamite. Do you remember that movie?
I do remember that movie.
Do you remember his dance thing that he did on stage? That's Canned Heat. That song.
Oh, okay.
Hold on.
Oh.
I'll play a little bit of it.
Julie, who are you?
I am the Vulture. I mean, I feel like the Vulture against Scarlet Witch is it's like a kid with a gun and a bird.
Random.
Fuck. I am armed with Xena's chakrams, which is fucking nice. What's my disadvantage?
And Julie's disadvantage is Bowser is here and wants to fight you. That's your
Solid.
So basically, you have something else
I have
going
to keep
on.
jumping over him and shit.
You have-
Shooting fire. I'm gonna get fireballs from him while you're trying to blast me out of there. Michael Keaton, give me strength. As Batman or Vulture.
That's your disadvantage. Well, I'm just dancing.
Yeah, you're just dancing.
I'm
The Canned Heat.
dancing with my magic and my one good kick, which I don't know how I'm gonna take that because Scarlet Witch has magic.
Yeah, but like her disadvantage is armed hand-to-hand combat. So now you have one good fucking kick for your
You get close to me and it's just
knock me into fucking Bowser.
Okay. Okay, fair. Alright, so we're going to start with me. Okay, so I feel like I actually have a good one this time, especially because you are disadvantaged by Bowser, so have fun with that. I think, first of all, having seen WandaVision, I think that Scarlet Witch is smart enough to figure out how to dance, and I think she knows how to do it, and I think that this disadvantage would not really be a disadvantage to her. She would just do it. She can be dancing, shooting magic. You get close, one good kick. That's all it takes, is one good kick. So I think Scarlet Witch is pretty hard to beat. Like, some of her magic, like, first of all, she almost won against Thanos just with that. So, you know, you give her one good kick. I'm still not entirely sure how I'm taking this. Because when I think about it, I think about One Punch Man. But it's not like that. You know, Vulture still, I mean, okay. And the other thing is, too, Vulture is an old man. So, you know, taking that however you will, I guess we're going with the movie version, so he's Michael Keaton. So, I mean, I guess he's not that old, but like in the comics, he does tend to be pretty old. He's like an old, kind of nerdy, scrawny man.
Well, all of like Spider-Man's villains are just creatures. It's like Rhino,
Random.
Doc Ock, Vulture.
And then the other thing is I think that Scarlet Witch would also be smart enough to figure out the Bowser situation. That, you know, since Bowser is there, and Bowser is not fighting her, that she would know to stay away from Bowser and just let Vulture deal with that. I'm not sure how Vulture would deal with that because, you know, the jumping and the bopping on the head. He's a fly boy. I don't know if you know this. How does Vulture do the jump? Probably not very well.
Just fly. What do you even mean? You just have to be above Bowser's head. I would just do that.
And then drop?
Then drop.
Okay. Maybe that's fair.
Do that.
Or, you know, there are the other options where it's like you have to grab his tail.
Yeah, I just thought of something.
Could Vulture grab his tail?
He's got the wings. So
The
yeah,
wings are not all powerful.
they push back. They allow him to do a lot. That's his whole thing. Or the powerful wings, man. So what he would do is he would bop Bowser when he goes into spinning mode, fucking nuke that motherfucker at Scarlet Witch, who notoriously has to stand still while she's figuring out how to push something off of her. She's very, like, mage soft type, and that's actually the issue in Infinity War, where she's, like, holding something and throws it into a building, thus making her go off beat to the Song of Canned Heat. And then she would break a bone, and I would just keep doing that shit since Bowser's gonna be around for another 3 goddamn rounds. Like, just keep throwing shit while I'm avoiding all of her attacks and such. The only thing that her reality matrix would be probably the worst thing for Vulture. He'd be like, what the fuck? Anytime something changed around. But also, she kind of did that by accident in the show, so I don't know how much control she really has over reality at this point.
Well, you can make a lot of arguments here, because, for one thing, if we're going with all of this, she could just stun Vulture. Like, literally just hold him. And Bowser would get him. And that's it. Like, she does that. That's a thing that she does. And even if, okay, we'll say 3 rounds. I think even if you broke 3 of her bones, random whatever, she still is a magic user.
Yeah,
against somebody who just essentially flies.
Magic users are weak, though. Vulture can take a beating.
Yeah, and then when he gets near her, one quick kick.
Yeah, he's not gonna beat like that. Essentially, when she starts breaking bones, he'll just keep throwing Bowser. Maybe she uses a kick on Bowser, and then that's gone. You've got nothing in combat. He'll just come in and whop you with the wings.
But I mean, like, is he eventually going to get Bowser? Because you got magic coming in from Scarlet Witch. She could hold him, whatever. You also got Bowser, who's gonna be doing fireballs and, like, trying to jump at him. He's not just, like, gonna sit there.
Well, no, but essentially he's taking Bowser and using it against her, like, forcing him to be in her way, in between them. Because Bowser don't give a shit what's in between him. He'll kill all of his little minions. So if he puts Scarlet Witch in between him and Bowser's gonna be attacking Scarlet Witch, because Vulture's fast. Vulture's a lot faster than Scarlet Witch.
You are still not gonna convince me that this scrawny little old man...
You're scrawny little witch bitch. Like,
can pick up a fucking goddamn fire-breathing dragon monster.
He's throwing the tail. If Mario can throw Bowser, why can't Vulture with wings? Mario's a lot smaller.
Mario is a beefy plumber. And
He's a teeny tiny Italian man. Okay? Vulture has fucking machine wings.
Is he picking him up with the wings?
He's using them to propel backwards while he swings it. So essentially he's using the momentum.
Okay. But he is still using his scrawny old man arms.
Not scrawny, it's Michael Keaton. He was Batman.
No, we can't talk about Batman. You gave up your Batman card.
And let's assume, like, if Mario can do it, I'm assuming pretty much anyone can do it.
Anybody? I don't think Peach could do it.
I think Peach fucking could. She's a queen. Let's fucking go.
Totally different argument.
Yeah. And maybe just Bowser's underbelly is covered in Vaseline, making him really slippery.
No, you don't have groceries this round.
It's the portal gonna keep out.
You have, I don't even know, what are you armed with?
Chakrams from Xena, so
Oh,
I can throw the chakrams.
Okay.
That'd be another
You're doing a lot of
distraction.
weird things. Chakrams, flying, Bowser. Also, Bowser is your disadvantage, not my disadvantage.
So it doesn't mean I can't take it and use it to you. I'm using my disadvantage to my advantage.
He is trying to attack you.
Yeah, and he's
not
a
trying to
big
attack
dumb
me.
dinosaur who can't figure the difference. He'll just kill whatever's in between me and him.
Maybe he thinks I am Princess Peach. I don't know.
Then he'd rape you to death.
I don't think that's what happens in Mario. We're making a lot of assumptions about Mario today. Okay.
This is the name of the game. You gotta get creative.
We gotta close ranks here, because we have gone so many different ways about this. Okay. Final things. I don't know. I think that Scarlet Witch has a lot, and I mean, I think
the Vulture would have to get lucky to win. I think that's the only way you can win, is if he got lucky. Because there's a lot of variables, but I don't think it's so much, because like I said, Scarlet Witch is a mage that's clothy, that's like You get one hit on her, she's kind of fucked. And I think with the broken bones, she's not used to that shit.
She's got one good kick.
I forgot about my advantage with the chakrams because I mean it'd just be a distraction real quick. Yeah. Take your fucking kick.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose if he could get it's just, I don't know. I think it's hard for me because when I think about Vulture, I think about comics Vulture. And I really don't think comics Vulture is that impressive. I mean, maybe you could talk about the Michael Keaton one, and he is a bit better. I would say that. But, like, if you're thinking about comics Vulture, he's just kind of silly, honestly.
These are the movies, so we're thinking Michael Keaton.
And it is a little bit better.
Because by the comic standard,
bit more dangerous.
You can even argue Scarlet Witch is a villain half the fucking time.
So it's confusing.
Mm-hmm. He will switch sides. He will get her to come to his cause.
What is the Vulture's cause? What does he want?
Freedom for the working man? I don't know. It's something weird.
I don't know.
They're all insane in Spider-Man.
The Spider-Man villains are like... They're like the Batman villains, honestly. It's just like... What the fuck is wrong with you? Why are you just dressing up like a clown and beating people up? It's not.
Why are you considered a villain?
Okay, cool. Well, in our comics, let us know who made the more valid argument. And remember that Julie forgot about her chakrams.
Well, then by that argument, you forgot, like, my disadvantage in the first round.
Love?
Yeah, the love one did.
Well, I mean, I kind of gave that one up.
Yeah.
Because Brody, without his power suit, he's just a guy.
He's just a dude with a bow.
I mean, to be fair, yeah, he's like in the military. I guess he knows about. He's still just a guy. It's like a god who's lived for like thousands of years.
Well, I'd say like 80% of the time Scarlet Witch would win, but my Vulture's got 20% on that.
One good chakram.
The right chakram, right time, then throwing a Bowser.
Okay. Alright, let's move to our last one then. This one's gonna be a good one. I know it is.
This one's dumb as hell.
Well, it's gonna be good for my reason. My disadvantage.
She's looking at me very intensely right now.
Because I don't know how this is gonna go. And I'm nervous.
Alright, so let's start off with my shitty hero. I'm Iron Fist.
Beautiful.
Look at that. I'm armed with a kick-ass plan.
You better be.
I mean, isn't that just an argument that I'm gonna do? Like, I don't understand.
You've got a good plan.
Alright.
Although I don't know how your plan is gonna be with this disadvantage. And in fact, speaking of this disadvantage, let's go into me first, and I will say my disadvantage last, because my disadvantage changes everything. For me, for the villain, I am Sandman.
We didn't know there's Spider-Man.
I know.
2 Thor, 2 Spider-Man.
Yeah, we're not very even
random here.
Anyway, Sandman. I'm armed with Excalibur. Good for me. I made of sand. Whatever. I got Excalibur. That's cool. Alright, so what is my disadvantage? I'm very nervous for 2 reasons right now.
Every 5 minutes, you go blind in your left eye. The only thing you can see is a scene from Harry Potter where Dumbledore comes crashing down saying, "Did you put your name in the Goblet of Fire?" Totally blind, and that scene plays in your left eye. In your left eye, while you're blind. So as long as it takes to go through that scene, and then Harry says, "No, sir," then you come back to vision.
Just that one.
Just that one eye.
Okay.
So it fucks up your depth perception and everything.
Okay. Alright. So for our final disadvantage, which is kind of a dual disadvantage. The disadvantage is, it is now a musical. Both combatants must sing to win.
How does that even play into mine? You have to sing the scene that's like playing in your eyeball.
It is a musical battle. Now, there's a musical component to this battle.
Okay.
And that's it. So here's the thing. Is who can sing better? Is it Iron Fist?
So instead of a fight, we're just singing.
Well, I mean, I suppose, okay, so think of it like a musical battle. So, like, you know, they're on stage, firework, singing, all this stuff. Who wins? With all these advantages, all these disadvantages, who would be the winner?
Okay.
It's a little bit weird, but I thought it would be interesting.
All right.
So, you get to go first. You're the hero.
It's Iron Fist. Let's see. This is probably the guy I know the least amount about because I don't
Should we explain Iron
give
Fist?
a shit. He's useless. What? No.
He's from the Defenders. He is a rich guy. He's got one good punch.
He's One Punch Man.
Except for not.
Not at all.
It's basically just like his fist becomes real hard.
Yeah, he has the ability of like his chi is channeled. So he channels his chi more or less. He learned like this ancient ability so he can like make his punches a lot harder. He can harden his skin. It's kind of just this. He's just a super martial artist.
Yeah, and in the TV show, he is very good at martial arts. So you do have that. But he makes his fist hard.
Phrasing. So
Entirely.
right.
Phrasing.
Some hard fisting.
Yeah. That's Iron Fist.
That's Iron Fist. And he has a kick-ass plan
To sing to win.
So I feel like that means he could have written out some songs already. Maybe. So he works like in a team. So he'd have backup singers and shit. He'd be on it.
I mean, yeah, but I don't know if you can take that argument though.
Because I don't know what a kick-ass plan means.
Well, you're in a room. You're in a room versus
you're on a
Sandman.
Stage. You're on a stage now.
Okay, you're on a stage. Sandman. You have a kick-ass plan to sing, kill Sandman to death.
Yes.
You have the plan.
So that's just my argument then. I already have a plan.
You just don't know you can't tell me what the plan is.
I just can't tell you what it is. I already win. It's fine. It's great.
Okay.
I think my disadvantage is all the worse for you because now every 5 minutes when you're trying to sing, you just have, did you put your name in the goblet of fire, like playing your left eyeball.
Yeah, but I think just after a while, I would just start singing it. Singing it to the beat.
You think that would get you points, though? I think that'd be a disadvantage if it's just way off topic in a musical. Like, what the fuck is he going on about?
Why does he just keep saying that?
Why does he just keep going on about the Goblet of Fire?
I mean, I will say, I do think that regardless of almost anything, it is probably pretty hard for Iron Fist to kill Sandman. If we're going through that thing. I don't know. Maybe if Iron Fist beats Sandman with the power of musical love. Like,
all he has to do is get to Sandman. Once you get to Sandman, he's fucked. He can't do anything.
But he's still sand.
He's not. He's a human, like, that encases himself in sand and everything. Like, he's a criminal that they, like... It's kind of... I forget the fucking name. It's a DC one. That's why I can't think of it. It's, like, the sludge, this big, like, abomination type character where, like, he's this big slime. But once they get to the core, like, and they put him to... They wake him up. Or no, they put him to sleep. Then he's no longer that creature.
I don't think that's how he is in the movies. So, I think
he channels his, like,
always like
sand.
that. No, I think in the movies, I think he just is part sand, essentially.
I don't know.
Because I think in order for Spider-Man to kill him, he basically has to, like, disperse him in the ocean.
I honestly don't remember.
So, it's possible that there are different versions of Sandman.
So he comes out of the sand and he's human.
Well, he is, but I still think he is, like... sand, because I think there are parts where he's like hitting them and I feel like he just turns to sand. Like, I don't feel like he like...
Oh, it's kind of like he's all encased. Okay, I don't know.
I mean, maybe this is something we'll have to investigate further. But I feel like in this version that he is mostly made of sand. Because I think there was like a whole bit where it's like he's genetically modified, blah, 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 blah. Spider-Man villains are weird.
They're hard to talk about.
Yeah, they're just... Honestly, Spider-Man villains are kind of stupid. Can we talk about that?
Can we just tangent about stupid villains in Spider-Man?
Spider-Man villains. One of his villains, I want everybody to know this. One of his villains is a man in a wheel. His name is Big Wheel. That's one of Spider-Man's villains.
Yeah, he kind of has some of the worst villains.
But Spider-Man is the best.
Yeah, Spider-Man, they compensate with Spider-Man being awesome.
He's, you know, the musical version of this, he's like, why do my villains suck? And I'm all emo.
That's only one.
No, he's still... Spider-Man is, like, the most emo.
Just because he's a teenager.
He's, like... He struggles with everything. Like, that... Sometimes I struggle with Spider-Man. I like Spider-Man. But sometimes I struggle with Spider-Man because of that whole emo thing. Like, it's basically like, Spider-Man has, like, if he was a sim, he'd be, like, cursed. Because basically anything that will go wrong does go wrong for Spider-Man, always. That is the rule with Spider-Man. He loses his love, he loses scholarship, he loses his job, he loses his apartment, he loses Aunt May.
Well, there's some seriously fucked up timelines in Spider-Man 2, which is in Spider-Man also. So it's just kind of like weird that you go back and forth between his villain is literally some dude dressed like a vulture in green that you're like, what the fuck is that? To extreme dark shit. Like, I think one of the timelines that always fucked me up, because I was gonna cosplay as Spider-Gwen, and I was looking up like some of her origins. Some of those are really, really fucked up. Some of them are obvious, where it's essentially like she gets bit by the spider instead, and she becomes the Spider-Man, and Peter becomes like her sidekick. But then there's this one where, like, I think it's one where Peter dies. Don't quote me exactly, but essentially she ends up like with Oz, like not Harry, like with the dad, with Green Goblin, and she gets pregnant and has 2 kids, and like apparently he raped her. Like, it was like a product of rape because she was with him for work, and like all this dramatic shit happens, and he kills her, and like her kids end up doing something. Like, it's some really fucked up timeline that I read about. It's like, why is she with Oz? What the fuck? Man.
We gotta put in that sound bit that's from Into the Spider-Verse where he's...
Sometimes I let matches burn down to my fingertips just to feel something, anything. Oh.
Yes. So you sounded.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Okay. Back to this musical thing, Sandman, Iron Fist. This is... I kind of wish it was almost any other character having a musical battle.
Right.
Because, I don't know, I mean, probably... I mean, so, like, if you're going off of musical terms, and it's Sandman... Okay, I have Excalibur. Oh, you know, I have Excalibur, so does that make me the one true king? So if I'm the one true king, I could make that argument in a song, and that's a pretty good song argument.
Or is Excalibur just like in a stone on the stage, and whoever wins the musical battle gets to take the sword?
I think Excalibur is in Marvel Comics, and it's like a thing.
Mm.
But if I make the argument, I'm the one true king, ba 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 ba.
Did you put your name in the goblet of fire?
Yeah. Maybe that wins me points, and that's pretty good. I mean, the other argument that you could make to play devil's advocate, because I don't know how to make this one work. You know, technically you're the hero, and probably in musicals, probably the hero normally wins. You can make that argument.
I mean, I feel like Iron Fist would do something really dumb, because that's what he normally does, and does a rap battle.
And everybody's like, boo! Get him off the stage! We want more Sandman!
Sandman! You could even do the song, like, Mr. Sandman. That could be your intro, man. You've got so much to work with.
They were talking about Enter the Sandman on the radio today, so that's why I was thinking about that.
I think Sandman, like, just musically has a lot more going for him. While Iron Fist, I guess he could go with rap. He can go with, like, Chinese martial arts type shit.
You know, I will say, because I think we're kind of done with this one, just feeling the room. There were some good moments in this one, but, you know, I will say, this was kind of a weird round. I don't think we got some of the most exciting characters.
Yeah.
We went on a bunch of random rants.
Instead of fighting, we're like, let's talk about something different.
1 hour later.
Okay, so we decided, because we don't know what happened with our randomizer, but we somehow just got Thor and Spider-Man shit, and we're kind of tired. Like, none of our cool shit really came up. So we decided to each of us picked a favorite hero combination and a favorite villain combination that we're just going to talk about because it's hilarious and funny, and I really like mine that I just came up with. So I'll let Chris do one first. So you want to do your hero first, and then I do my villain No, I want to do my fight. I want to do mine as a fight.
Okay.
So we'll just
aim your fight. Do your fight.
Okay. My fight will be the funniest fucking thing that I've ever thought of. So, of course, I picked Captain America because he's my boy, right?
He is a snack.
He's my boy.
As
That
we
ass.
said at the beginning, he is
That's
a
America's
snack.
ass. It is
America's
a
snack.
America's snack. Yeah. And I gave him Mjolnir because I watch that scene once a month. It's literally, I have a statue. It's literally the greatest moment in like cinematic history. And his disadvantage is he can't find his super suit, which means he's like quasi naked. So that's my dude.
He's just naked.
Quasi, not fully. He'd have tidy whities on. It's fine.
Yeah. And shield.
No, actually, okay. So his opponent would be Odin with Cap's shield, which is essentially reversing the weaponry, and his mom is coaching the fight.
Wait, so Odin's mom?
Yes.
Okay.
Whoever that is.
Okay.
So I love this fight because one, Odin is fucking ruthless. Like, he would be aiming to kill Cap, while Cap's literally just gonna be like, my fucking shield. Like, he's gonna be trying to get his shield and sympathizing with Odin, like, the whole time. But, like, he's wielding Mjolnir, which means he has the same abilities as Thor. So he would actually be able to fight Odin.
And, well, in the comics, it makes him Thor, right? That's
Whoever
the way that it
wields
works.
his hammer has the power of Thor.
Yeah, because in the comics, it's like, that's how you are Thor.
Yeah, so he's basically, like, fighting Odin as, like, his son, while his grandmother is bitching about how the fight is going.
But he's also kind of naked, so it's
He's quasi-naked. So, like, this would be the best fight to watch in the world.
It would be very confusing, like, just two people.
Yeah.
And
like,
then,
Odin would be going for the killing shot every time. And
it'd be
Cap
like,
would just be
"Kill
like,
him, Sonny."
fuck him up, son! Be ruthless!
Just one good punch.
Why is she that old? Like, all of these, they're like half immortal.
I don't know, because I don't know who his mom is. Probably like a figment of reality, because he's basically a god.
Yeah.
Or a titan, or something.
Whatever that thing is.
And the titans, I mean, that is a whole nother episode that we could talk about sometime, is Odin, because, yeah, Odin is he's very fucked up. If y'all don't know about Odin, look up Odin. Very fucked up.
Very fucked up. Hela
Okay.
only dips a toe into the water.
Yeah, I don't know if I have a lot of good combinations, but I had some ones on here that I did really like. Oh no, I think I accidentally picked yours.
Fine.
That's fine, I'll pick another one.
No, you can do it.
Well, no, because I picked the mom is coaching your fight thing, which that one was pretty good. Oh, here, we'll do this. Okay, so one thing that I liked is I do always like Mantis. And one of the ones that I included on here for armed with is a Tanuki suit power-up. Just imagine Mantis floating around with her little power to stun people. Also, some of the disadvantaged by, so like a sense of impending doom, which is always just something that I like. Because I don't know if people really know about this, but this is like an actual medical condition. But it always just makes me laugh. Like, just the thought of it, that you're just sitting there and you're just like, oh no, it's my time.
The doom.
I feel it coming. And then I also I did put Kilgrave on here. Mad that he didn't come up, because that is my favorite villain ever. It definitely helps that it's David Tennant.
David Tennant did it. Without that, Jessica Jones would have been shit. Like, beautiful.
I loved Kilgrave. That was so good. I also love that I put on here the power of science, which, I mean, Purple Man, he kind of already uses. And so I guess another one that would be really good for him to be disadvantaged by, if this is like a made-up fight with Mantis, is terrified of insects.
That would be a good one.
Because
she kind of looks like a bug.
yeah, she does kind of look like a bug. It's kind of weird. She's like a bug person.
Yeah.
But
So you couldn't, like, look at her while he was yelling at her.
I did too. I wanted to say some of my random disadvantages that I had planned if we were going to get to it. So one of them was going to be that you are transformed into your DC equivalent character, which I thought would just be very random. I'm not sure it would change anything, but it would be confusing for a moment. One of the other ones would be you are in possession of a fully functioning Yu-Gi-Oh card deck and understand all the rules. Which I just like that you have that. This is your disadvantage.
Let's play a child's card game. Yeah.
It's like, no, I don't understand. And then one of the other ones, this was like one of the last ones that I added, is that you are now a Lego. This is a Lego movie tie-in game.
Why is you changed the scenery? Like, we both picked very I did like momentary things, like things you have to adjust for. I'm like, every 5 minutes this happens, and you're like, the whole room changes. Like, so I find it funny we both like picked a niche without talking to each other about it.
Well, not really the Yu-Gi-Oh deck thing.
No,
You just have one.
I mean, my like terrified of insects. That was pretty random.
Yeah.
I also just like allergies are acting up because I can just imagine like Iron Man be like, wait, like while he sneezes, like
Yeah.
in his screen, like fuck, it's everywhere. Like I have to clean my goddamn shield screen.
He probably has an app for that.
I know he's probably already figured out that problem. Icing problem, sneezing problem, done.
All the problems.
Yeah, but
So yeah.
I thought this was pretty fun.
Yeah, I think we did a good job of being nerdy and talking about things, but then also not talking about everything, although we pushed it.
Yeah, we
a
went
few
on some
times.
tangents.
We also had a few musical tangents, which was
Gonna happen.
which was random, but yeah, I think that's it. Are there any things that we want to do for closing here? I mean, I guess one of the things would be that, you know, in the future, maybe we could talk about this more. Like, maybe as things come up, maybe, you know, if we really wanted to talk about Captain Falcon, or, God.
You've said this wrong like every time.
Winter Soldier and Black Falcon. I don't even think that's right, isn't
No,
it?
it's Falcon.
It's Black Falcon and Winter Soldier.
I thought it was just Falcon.
Okay, I'm just confusing everybody, but whatever. If we wanted to talk about that, if we wanted to talk about WandaVision, as that was coming up or something, we could.
Yeah.
But just to
It's
start,
just the Falcon and
Okay.
Winter Soldier.
Captain Falcon and the Bucky situation.
The Winter Falcon and the Soldier Wolf.
And the soldier situation.
Soldier Falcon Wolf thing. So anyway, as you can tell, we could talk about Marvel, DC, comics, Captain America, like all day, every day. So this was, I think this was a good little introduction to kind of let you know that our spectrum is pretty wide on this. We're probably, I think we should have a DC versus Marvel off because I am a DC fan at heart, technically.
So what, we do like the same thing, but with half DC, half Marvel? And then we can get rid of some of the duds.
Some of these stupid characters.
Some of these duds.
We can limit it to 20 as well. We could just limit it, since obviously having 40 for 4 rounds was completely unnecessary.
Yeah, it would be like DC versus Capcom,
Yeah.
which is very random in itself because they have like Phoenix Wright versus like Deadpool,
That makes sense. I mean,
which is like what?
well, Deadpool's a Marvel.
Right, Marvel versus Capcom. I'm sorry, did I say DC versus Capcom? Marvel versus
Mhm.
Capcom. Yeah.
Okay. Like, wait, what?
Yeah. So, but it's still whatever. It's just random because they've got like random, just like I said, like Phoenix Wright. It's like
I solve crimes and do law.
he's a lawyer. he doesn't have powers.
The power of
You
law.
put him versus Deadpool. Yeah, he's dead. He dies.
It's kind of like when you play Super Smash Brothers, and it's like the villager. They made him fucking fierce in the new one, because originally it's like, how would the villager kill Mewtwo? And then you see he's just like, I'm gonna put a tree up his ass. Like, oh fuck, he's serious.
Okay,
They find a way.
We're getting off topic.
Closing arguments here. Now that we're
Closing
Phoenix
on
Wright.
this.
This was passion for passion.
I mean, okay. This is our message for everybody. Get on Facebook and other things and tell us who won, who lost. I feel like we did a bad job. I'm very sad.
Tell us what we did. But we did a shitty job, if you ask me.
Because we got really random people. We planned so much. We have a spreadsheet in front of us of all of these characters. We picked Scarlet Witch, Rhodey, Jigsaw, Sandman. What do you have?
Vulture, Iron Fist, Valkyrie,
All
Loki.
Okay, maybe Loki.
Loki's a good one.
But like, we have this whole spreadsheet. We somehow just zoned in on the most random people.
On our fillers. This was Passion for Your Passions with Julie.
And Krista, where we played Marvel Superfights. Next episode is a Julie special.
I'm going to be talking about gardening.
Strictly personal food. Great. Wait a minute, so just a bow and arrow, does that mean he only has a bow and arrow? Oh, that's maybe not good. That's maybe not good for Rudy. Okay.
Well, no, he'd have a suit, but
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is
oh,
if it's just a bow and
you did
arrow.
say just.
I don't know what it's with you and getting all these gods. What the shit?
You got the Infinity Gauntlet. I
I'm
feel
just
like
you're getting gods from the Thor universe. Weird. 16, 22, 6.
I'm the villain.
Yeah.
Vulture.
That's random.
16, 22. Xena's chakram. Fuck yeah.
Alright, you are 20 and you're a hero.
I'm the fucking Iron Fist. God damn shit.
20, 24, 28. Oh,
A
wait,
kick-ass
no.
plan. What?
You don't have 28.
No.
That's mine. A kick-ass plan.
I'm Iron Fist.
better have a kick-ass
plan. Fuck. But did you put your name in the goblet of fire? I want to do it like Rhapsody. Goblet of fire.
No, sir.